All right. Uh, all right. So let's begin. I just wanted to talk a little bit about what we're doing here at the Goa Jazz Academy at this point, and we have launched our Foundation in Music program, which is starting in the month of August, and we also have scholarships open. So if you feel like you're interested in this, please go to the Goa Jazz Academy page on Instagram or on Facebook, and then you can sign up there and you can see what's happening. And yeah, so today we are in the volume 10 of our playlist, and we have we have had a new guest come every Sunday and make a playlist for us, a guest of Goa Jazz Academy. And last week we had Dor Levin from WTF Grooves, who gave us an insight into the world of rhythm and how he's helped shape it, and how he's helping us understand it a little better. And this week we have Goa's own Kristian Bent, who has generously agreed to make a playlist with us. And he's a musician from Goa. He's a singer. He's also a songwriter, and he's had a lot of music released. And you can go check out his page, his Instagram page, at Kristian Bent Music, I think. And you can check out his music there. So just give me a second. Meanwhile, let's try and invite him over so that we can. Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, man. How's it going?
So I've seen you recently, but I don't think the people of Goa in general have seen you in a bit. And I think we should start with how are you doing and what's been happening on your end. So if you could give us a little insight into what's been happening, it'd be great.
I mean, I've been indoors for like 3 months, so I mean, it's just best to stay indoors. But what's been happening? I mean, just regular stuff, man. Just working, passing my time efficiently, I think. Learning new things. Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
It's good. It's good to hear. No, it's a tough time, and most of us haven't been going out, and most of us haven't been meeting other people. So it's very difficult for other people to also know what we have been up to as musicians or otherwise. We don't really know what's been happening on any end of the spectrum. So, which is why I asked, Also, so thank you for generously making the playlist for us. It's actually a brilliant playlist, and it's one of the only times that I've gone through a playlist and not known a single song, which is also a great thing, because that's exactly what we want. We want us and the other people who are listening to the playlist to be exposed to stuff they're not used to listening to, and have the Sunday soundtrack. So basically spend your Sunday listening to new music, etc.
Nice.
Right? Okay, so let's get to the playlist as such. I think that's the part that we're here for. Did you have a hard time making it? I mean, I'm sure
not at all. Not
omit
at all.
some songs, or were you that particular in your selection?
No, so I had a few songs that I really wanted to put in, but they didn't quite fit in with the rest of them, so I had to take them out. And they were really good songs, like ones I really, really enjoy listening to. Right. But I think I managed to put like a few in that I thought wouldn't fit, but they kind of fit.
Sweet. So the playlist, you also had a particular order of listening.
Yeah.
To the playlist.
Yeah.
So why is that? And could you elaborate a little bit on that? I think if you could tell our listeners how you want them to listen to, also will be great.
Yeah. The main thing, do not listen to it on shuffle. I mean, you can if you want to, but I've always had this thing where I really enjoy listening to albums. So I mean, if you've been listening to music since you were a kid, you only had albums, you had cassettes and stuff like that. So I still have that with a lot of the artists that I really like. And that's how I also structure my album, So I always tell people, if you're listening, listen to it in order. I mean, that's the way I would do it. So similarly, I thought the playlist. I like a playlist that I can play from start to finish, and it sort of just transitions well, and you know.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the reason. So yeah, don't listen to it on shuffle.
So don't listen to it on shuffle. You've heard it from the man himself. So when you listen to it, go through in the order that he's intended, so
Yeah,
you get the right,
absolutely.
thing out of it. Also, so since this is also a platform where we get to know the artists or the guests that we have, I would like to ask, how did you get into being a musician? How did the whole journey start, and what do you like? Where does it come from?
I mean, look. I mean, I think I have to maybe just think of the first memory I have of like wanting to be a musician, and I think I was like I don't know 7 years old, and Hanson's first cassette had like album had just come out. You know Hanson, I'm sure,
Yeah.
right? So there were these three brothers. We were three brothers. I mean, we are three brothers, and I'm the youngest. And the youngest guy in Hanson used to play the drums. So that's the first thing that kind of uh, got me. That desire to
Right.
be a musician. And so that's what I started off playing the drums, and but I only got my first. That was when I was 7 years old. But I got my first drum kit when I was 17 years old or 18 years
Wow.
old or something. So it was
So how
more.
did you manage for that span of time without an instrument?
I mean, I used to play on my pillows. I mean, I'm sure you did too.
Right,
Just
right,
play
right.
on anything. Yeah, yeah. And like I was, I mean, I think I was quite impressed with myself because once I got a drum kit, I felt like I already knew how to play just a little bit. So that the pillow drumming and air drumming kind of helped a lot. And so yeah, I started a band with some college friends in 2009, I think it was. Went on till 2012. We were playing live gigs around here in Goa. Um, I wouldn't say we were extremely good, but we were, I mean, for college kids, I think we were pretty all right. But of course, my thing was always that I wanted to create music, I wanted to write. I
Right.
So yeah, so that's what. And so then I had a transition. Wasn't too difficult. A friend gifted me a guitar on my birthday in 2012, and that's obviously
Okay.
where it started off. I was writing songs sort of before that. I just knew like G and C, and everybody
Right.
knows G and C when you start off.
Right.
So yeah, I had a few songs. I don't know where they are right now. I don't sing them at all. They're pretty shit.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, then soon I think it was 2013, 14 when I did a songwriting course,
Right.
and that's basically that's now we're here.
So this is a question that. So basically, I just wanted to ask you, to be singing and to be playing music is one thing, and to want to write music is a totally other thing.
Hmm.
You know, so we all listen to music, but very few actually end up writing music. And what
Yeah.
actually made you get into that stream of things, as in like other than just being a drummer or other than just being a vocalist, what
The
got you
writing
into
part of
writing
it,
music?
yeah.
Yeah, the composition and songwriting part of it.
I mean, like I remember writing songs when I was about 10, 11. Absolute
Okay.
rubbish. I remember that too. But I had like a stack of songs. I think I had like more songs than I've ever written now. Like just like
Okay.
50, 60 songs of
Right.
just rhymes and no real sense and stuff like that. But the thing is, so I think it came from I think I have basically I didn't go to school, right? I dropped out of fifth standard and then lived with my parents on a farm. And luckily, we had possibly 200, 300 books. So I used to read a lot. And my brothers, they
Right.
used to read a lot more. So that sort of uh,
Right.
spilt, sort of, I don't know, I picked it up as well. And I used to read a lot. And I
Right.
think that's where it comes from. I think essentially the this thing to
The,
create pictures and,
right.
and paint
So,
paint pictures
since
of
we
it.
are on the subject of books and other things, how much do you think reading in general contributes to writing music, or even to understand music? Not just reading books per se, but a, a habit of reading in general, like poetry,
Yeah.
novels, and name it.
Before I say that it's extremely important, I mean, I have not read a book in the past 6 years, I think. I have tried.
Okay.
I have tried. Even now in the lockdown, I had 2 books by my pillow. I don't know. I somehow my attention span is not there anymore.
Right.
But I think it's crucial, man. I think it's. I mean, would you write a book if you hadn't read a book? Can you be an author without reading books? I don't know. You
Right.
know?
Right. Right. I get what
So
you mean.
yeah, yeah. I mean, because it's not just language that you learn, not just euphemisms and metaphors and ways to paint pictures, but it's I don't know. People say that what is it? Something about if you don't travel, read books, and I'm sure you've heard this
Right.
quote somewhere.
Right. Right. The
I can't
traveling
remember.
through books. If you don't travel and you read books, you're still
Absolutely.
traveling in a way.
So I think it's crucial, man. It gives you an idea of how to paint pictures, or at least how to want to see different things.
Okay.
And so I think it's crucial. Yeah.
Nice. Also, the playlist. Back to the playlist. So the one thing that I observed about the playlist is about till the 8th song there is no percussion.
Yeah.
And it's mostly vocal centric.
Yeah.
The whole thing is vocal centric. So do you have any reasons for why the playlist was like that? I mean, in general, like why is not out of a bias, but why is there no percussion, or is that something that you like? Is that kind of music that you listen to generally?
Yeah. I listen to I don't know if you know Merle Travis, and
Right.
I listen to a lot of Merle Travis. In fact, and I also, I mean, I listen to a lot of folk and country, and folk and country doesn't really have too much going on when it comes to drums, and especially I listen to old country more than the newer country. I listen to it sometimes, of course, because got to keep up to date. But so I mean, I don't know if you've heard Hank Williams or something. They have drums, but it's like it's not. It's just there, sort of like just
Like keeping the groove,
that
kind of.
Yeah. So I suppose that's
okay.
Yeah.
Also,
That's the
the fascinating thing about your music and this playlist is it's a lot of blues, country, and bluegrass music.
Yeah.
No, the thing about what surprises me is we don't have that many country bluegrass musicians here.
Yeah, bluegrass for
Right?
sure not. Yeah.
And where does that particular inspiration come from? Because since we are in an academy and we have a lot of students who come from different walks of life, and very rarely do we come across people say, hey, you know what, I'm a big fan of bluegrass music. It's very rare.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite refreshing to see people of different tastes coming up with, being inspired by things that generally people aren't. And where is that influence coming from?
I mean, once again, I mean, just like we had 200-300 books on the farm,
Right.
we had 300-400 cassettes. So
Okay.
yeah, I do not think I'm exaggerating when I say 300-400. Maybe I'm just a little bit, but 200-300, we had a lot of cassettes.
Still a lot,
Right.
yeah.
And so basically my mom and dad used to listen to this. My mom listened to more of the popular country from back then, regular Willie Nelson and Dolly Parton, Johnny Cash, stuff like that. And my dad used to listen to slightly different stuff, Little River Band, the band, stuff like that, But the thing is, quite honestly, I didn't understand country
Okay.
until I was in my 20s, right?
Okay.
And then because I wanted to write more music, I started to go back to it. I mean, I was playing the blues then already,
Right.
and I think the blues sort of helped me go back to it. I mean, after all, it all comes from folk in a way,
Right.
So at home we listen to a lot of it. So this was not bluegrass. So bluegrass is what I have started getting into now because I like country, because I like folk, and
Okay.
bluegrass is
Like a byproduct of all this listening.
I mean, it's all hand in hand.
So do you have any honorable mentions that did not make it to the playlist? Do you have any stuff that people you want people to?
Merle Travis for sure. Merle Travis, because I really thought he would go well in this playlist, but the thing is, the quality of the recordings also didn't suit the quality of these recordings, so I don't have him there. Hank Williams Hank Williams. I really like Hank Williams. Who else? Who else? But yeah, those two for sure.
Okay,
I mean,
awesome.
I wanted more Poki Lafarge because I really like Poki Lafarge. I don't know
Okay,
if
okay.
you, yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
one song. I wish I had more, but yeah.
So guys, now you know like what didn't make it to the playlist. So if you think you need to get you need to understand Kristian Bent a little more, maybe you need to check all this music and see what that does for you. All right. So moving on to the next thing. So you're also an independent musician, in the
Yeah,
sense you write a lot of music by yourself,
yeah.
and I mean I can understand like the number of things that comes with writing music and putting it out there. What are some of the things that you keep in mind while doing this, and do you like what are the kind of challenges that you face in terms of writing new music? Because independent music, we are gone are the days where record labels controlled anything.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
today we all have, it's basically to each his own. So how are
yeah.
you managing and how do you approach this whole thing?
I suppose you mean as a independent
As a
musician
songwriter,
as a whole.
as a composer,
Okay.
as a songwriter, how do you, number one is how do you manage during the pandemic, especially because
Mhm. I
considering
don't.
there are
I
no
mean,
gigs,
I'm just kind of laying low and waiting for things to open up again.
right? But also
I
in
mean,
terms of writing music, etc. How are
mhm.
you keeping yourself, number one, inspired, motivated, and secondly, yeah, how are you doing this?
So, I mean, there's enough inspiration around. I mean, there's so much
Right,
happening. If you're not inspired by this, then I don't know. I mean, nothing will inspire you. But also the one thing I learned, one of the first lessons sort of that I learned in songwriting was don't rely on inspiration.
right,
Because you will find a lot of people who say, I don't write so much because I wasn't inspired, because I'm waiting for the inspiration to come, but it's not coming. And I also find that if you do wait for inspiration, you are inspired for like a verse and a chorus, and then it falls flat, and then you don't know what to do with it. So there are a few sort of ways and methods, processes that you can, if you have an idea, you can sort of write a song. It may not be
right.
good, but you'll be able to write that song. So I don't really look for inspiration. Um, but when it comes to being an independent musician, the things I keep in mind, I think writing songs is probably the easiest part.
Yes, right,
That's the easiest part. As an independent musician, then you've got to finance that production,
right.
which is the hard. Okay, I mean, especially if you're playing in Goa, it's kind of hard because you don't get you know how it is. The fees are not quite there. That is one thing, and the one thing I just can't wrap my head around, and I'm trying to getting there is social media, man. How? Yeah, got to post every day. You got to keep up with it. I mean,
Right,
I
right,
don't know if I'm cut out for it, but you have to be. I mean, you have to get on the train, or you're going to be left behind. So
right,
yeah, that's that's
right.
all I can
No,
say.
so it's interesting that you spoke about the finance bit, and you also spoke about the Goa music scene as such.
Yeah.
So one part of the question that I wanted to ask was, as an independent musician, other than writing music, and how real are the opportunities that you're getting to perform this music that you're writing? That's one thing, and in terms of the Goa music scene and what you just mentioned, like, why do you think that is, and is there any way that it can change, or do you feel that there is a change coming, or is it possible?
The first thing was what was the first thing you said?
So what I was saying was, how difficult is it to actually get to? So writing music and
Right.
finance is one part of it, but how do you
Yeah.
get to playing it? It's
Yeah.
not that often that you have many musicians coming and playing original music outside. So when you go for a gig,
Yeah.
it's rarely the case. And
Absolutely.
how do you get past that thing, that hurdle?
I mean, see, in Goa, it's kind of difficult in Goa.
Okay.
It's changing, and it has been changing in the past couple of years. There are probably just one or two places that really promote live music. The others promote live music. We can say that. But the thing is, you can go out and play your original. I do sometimes play my original music, but I've noticed that you can play an entire 2 hour gig playing your original music. But now the question is, are people into it? And will you get a gig again if people are not into it? So you have to sort of throw in covers. I say throw in covers, but actually I throw in my originals. So I have more covers than originals. But I feel that's kind of the only way to stay relevant in most places. There are, of course, one or two places like Hideaway does good
Right.
independent musicians and artists from around. So that's one stage I can say you can go and play your originals, and you're quite likely
Right.
to get people listening to you. Yeah, I
So,
mean,
but it also sounds like a rarity, like you could, the way you were mentioning things, it's more like
yeah.
there is one or two places that you know of that lets you play this original. Why do you think that's the case? Or
No,
that's
I think everyone will let you play the
okay,
original music.
okay, okay,
Everyone will let
okay,
you play the original music, but if your crowd is
okay,
not enjoying it, and we know one thing for sure, that in Goa, the crowd it's all part like it's people don't come just for the music. People come to eat and drink, and the music is part of it. Like when we
right,
started off playing in 2009, we were background music. Nobody listened. Uh,
okay,
on good days, you'd get people listening, and you'd get everyone clapping, and that was like, wow, we made
okay,
it, sort of thing. But I mean, it's a fine line. I think it's a fine line. You can play an entire set of originals,
right.
but it's a crowd is not the crowd that enjoys that, then you're most likely not going to get a gig there again. So it's dicey.
It's dicey. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
No, it's a thing because a lot of people who write original music do not get to play because a lot of them are asked to use covers as well as part of the gig. And also you were talking about how the music scene here is in terms of like playing gigs, etc. So that's why the question. Also,
Uh,
so let's,
uh-huh.
yeah, sorry, tell me.
Go on, go on, go on, go on.
No, so I was just thinking about the playlist, and so from what I've heard in the playlist, and like I said, there is a lot of bluegrass, and there's some country.
Yeah.
And I think one of my favorite tunes from this is "Don't Let the Green
Yeah.
Grass Fool You."
Yeah. California
You
Honey
know,
Mix. Yeah.
it's a lovely song. It's a lovely
Yeah.
song, and
Yeah.
so this is one of the only big band setup. Where there's a
In the
band like,
playlist?
yeah,
Well, there's also
out of the entire playlist, I think the last three songs, that is "Goodbye
yeah.
Carolina," the Marcus
Yeah.
King band, that I've heard
Yeah.
before. I think it
Okay.
sounded really familiar, but that's one of the bigger band setups. So when you write your music, how do you think of it? Do you think of the number of people that are going to be involved in playing it, or what is your basis of how you write your music?
I've been I've been thinking about that more now that I've sort of put
Okay,
out I put out the EP recently, so it's given me a little more perspective on the production part of it. I usually just write as a single songwriter. I don't really
right.
think of what goes in, what else is going to play a part, except for the EP where I knew that I wanted the drums, because I
Okay,
didn't have it on my first album, and
right.
I thought like, come on, I used to be a drummer. I really like the drums, so I want to have music with the drums. So that EP, I can say that I really put some thought into what's going to who has a part to play and where it's going to fit in. But now I'm sort of working. As I said, I've been listening to a lot of Merle Travis, and I'm still. I'm sure you've heard of Travis speaking. That comes
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Merle
yeah,
Travis,
yeah.
right? So that he invented this thing where you play a bass line and then you use the top strings to play a melody all at the same time. So
Right,
I'm quite fascinated with this, and this is what I'm now learning. So right now I'm thinking of more kind of solo songs
right.
uh,
So,
with the
solo.
addition
Sorry,
of
sorry,
yeah,
sorry to break you up, but solo,
yeah.
when you say solo, it's you singing by playing and performing by yourself.
No, I mean I'm writing it as I'm writing it for me to play it on guitar by myself.
Okay.
But of course I have a few things that I like. I definitely want a snare or just a
Right.
bass and a snare. That's about it that I might want in, you know. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it a little more simple. I think I was always sort of making simple music, but right now I'm starting to think more about how simple I want it and what I want to stand out, what makes more sense.
Right.
Yeah, because it's easy to be enthusiastic and put everything into it, you know. And then in the end, is it still I mean, it's still a song, but is it good? I don't know.
Right.
So yeah,
No, there's a famous saying to if you need to explain a really complicated subject, you need to be able to explain it simply.
absolutely,
You
man.
know, that's I think that's pretty much is the gist of what you were saying. And
Yeah.
also, if anybody would like to ask any questions, please post it on the comments, and I will make a note of it, and we will ask at the end of the session. All right. And also about let's get back to a little bit to writing music, because you have been writing for a while. And
Yeah.
are you working on anything right now that we should know about, like anything
Mm.
that's going to
Yeah.
come
I
out
have
soon?
I have a video planned. I mean, it's I have the song already done. I have the video sort of done, and we are planning to put it out hopefully soon. Once things open up and the studios open up and I can finish off. Yeah, so I
Right.
have that coming out. I have a few songs in the pipeline that I haven't recorded.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I do have music there.
Okay, great. So if you could also tell the people where to check out your music for people who have not seen you or heard you before, uh, this will be
I
a nice
mean,
opportunity for them to know where to find your music and how to search for it and
the question is, where
etc.
wouldn't you find my music?
Where wouldn't you
YouTube,
find the music?
Spotify. I mean everywhere. I mean I think it's on 27 different platforms, so you'll find it everywhere.
All right, so it's
Spotify, Apple
Kristian
Music,
Bent Music.
YouTube,
So that's what you
everywhere.
need to search for, and you're going to find. And
Yeah.
especially if you're interested in the playlist, which is going to be out for the weekend, which is post this chat, it's going to be out. So if you would like to check it out, you can go to Spotify, and volume 10 of Goa Jazz Academy's Your Sunday soundtrack, and you can check it out. And if you like the music, you know where it came from, you could check the maker of it also, and see what's happening. All right, so that was a really good chat, and we got some insight into who you are as a person, other than the
That's
musician, you know, and what brings the idea of your music onto the table. Um, all right, so I'm going to end the chat here, and I'm going to thank you for making this playlist, which
my
was
pleasure.
great because, like I said, I've not heard any of these songs before. Some of
That's
the artists
good.
have not, like, I think the only name that I've heard is Derek Trucks
Okay.
from the whole thing. So this is really new for me, and I'm sure it's new for a lot of people, and we are all going to get something out of this. All right.
I
So
hope.
thank you so much for joining us. And yes, and there is a question from somebody here. Uh, what is so? If you could just type out the question, it would be great.
Treble sax.
Yeah. Is it a long question? I hope.
It seems like it. Just skimming through. Were there questions above? I mean, someone asked about my hair, but that's about it.
Yeah. So who is your hair guy? That's the question. If you'd like to answer,
I
please
am
go
my
for
hair
it.
guy. No hair guy.
Yeah, there you got the answer. Anyway, so this is going to take some time, I believe. So until next time. So I hope we get you back again to make another playlist, maybe an
Oh,
extended version of what you could not add. Maybe you could add it in the next
oh yeah.
version.
Oh yeah.
And there you go. The question's finally here. What are some good practice routines to get better at solos or improvisation?
I think you're mistaking me for a good guitar player. I am not. I just play rhythm. I think treble sax is talking about guitar solos in improvisation.
Okay, since you are on that subject, I could also ask you, um, how do you how do you maintain as a vocal? I'm not a vocalist, and I'm not sure about how vocalists generally maintain their voice and what they are supposed to do to, keep the engine running. How do you do it,
Yeah.
and how do you manage it?
Well, a vocal teacher would tell you definitely don't smoke cigarettes.
Right?
That's I mean, I haven't managed to live by that rule. So, I mean, I wanted to put that out because I want to tell you that I don't really have a great routine, but one thing I try to maintain is I drink a lot of hot water. I mean, right
Yeah.
now, since I've not been playing gigs, I've been a bit slacking a bit, but I drink a lot of hot water otherwise, and it's great for the body overall. But
Right.
that really helps my throat. Yeah.
There you go. So
And of
if
course,
you're
don't forget to do your vocal scales and stuff like that, which is I'm just been getting into in the past year or so. That's important, of course.
So
Yeah.
there you go. If you were asking for that answer, there you got it. Uh, anyway, so thank you for joining us again, and this was a
My
great
pleasure.
chat. And I hope to have you at the academy soon, and also hope to do this Insta chat again for another
Yep.
version of the playlist. All right?
Love that. Yep.
Yeah. So see you on the other side, and hope to see you
You
soon.
too, man. You
All
too.
right. Thank you. Bye bye.